The rain hammered the roof like it was trying to drown out the secrets of the world. Noah Harlan stood frozen on the porch of the old craftsman house in Maplewood Heights, his knuckles still stinging from the knock, heart slamming against his ribs as the door creaked open. There, framed in the golden spill of lamplight, was Mason Beckett. Not Tyler, not the buddy he'd expected, but his father, broad-shouldered and silver-flecked at the temples, with eyes like smoked oak that locked onto Noah's and held them captive for a beat too long. "Come on in, kid," Mason said, his voice low and gravelly, like the rumble of thunder rolling in from Puget Sound. "Tyler's out cold upstairs. Movie night got postponed, but the popcorn's still hot. You sticking around?" Noah swallowed hard, the air between them thickening with something unnamed, electric, as he stepped across the threshold into a warmth that felt both forbidden and inevitable. Noah had known Tyler Beckett since freshman orientation at Evergreen Community College, two kids from the rainy sprawl of Seattle trying to outrun the ghosts of high school awkwardness. Tyler was the easy one, lanky with a perpetual grin, the kind of guy who could turn a kegger into a confessional and make you laugh through the hangover. They bonded over late-night drives along the waterfront, blasting indie rock from Tyler's beat-up Subaru, windows down even in the downpour, yelling lyrics about heartbreak they pretended wasn't real. Noah, though, he carried his storms inside. At 19, he was all sharp angles and quiet intensity, the son of a single mom who'd raised him in a cramped apartment off Capitol Hill, scraping by on barista shifts and community theater gigs. Noah's dad had bailed before he could walk, leaving behind a void filled with sketchbooks of half-drawn faces and unspoken questions about who he was allowed to want. It started innocently enough, that pull toward the Beckett house. Tyler's place was a world away from Noah's shoebox life, a two-story relic from the 1920s, with creaky oak floors and a backyard that sloped down to a thicket of evergreens. Mason had bought it after the divorce, a fresh start for him and Tyler in the suburbs, away from the echo of arguments in their old downtown loft. Mason ran a small carpentry shop in Fremont, the kind where he handcrafted walnut tables that looked like they belonged in a Wes Anderson film, all precise lines hiding knots of history. He was 42, but carried it like 35, tall, with calloused hands that spoke of real work, a jaw shadowed by evening stubble, and a laugh that rumbled like the fairy horns on the sound. Noah's first real glimpse of him came during a pickup basketball game in Tyler's driveway last summer. Tyler had dragged Noah over for what was supposed to be a casual shoot-around, but Mason showed up in faded jeans and a Henley that clung just right, sleeves rolled to his elbows, revealing forearms veined like rivers on a map. He dunked on Tyler with effortless grace, then turned to Noah with a nod. "You got a jumper, Harlan? Let's see it." Noah's shot swished clean, and Mason's approval landed like sunlight breaking through clouds, a simple, nice form that lingered in Noah's chest for days. From there, it was stolen moments. Dropping by for study sessions that dissolved into video games, Noah catching Mason in the kitchen, measuring coffee grounds with the focus of an artist. Or the time Tyler crashed early after a party, leaving Noah to help Mason clear the table, their fingers brushing over a stack of plates, the air humming with the low buzz of the fridge. Noah told himself it was nothing, just admiration for a man who'd built a life from splintered wood. But at night, alone in his room with the city lights flickering through the blinds, Noah's mind wandered to the curve of Mason's shoulders, the way his voice dipped when he said Noah's name, like it was something worth savoring. That rainy Friday in October was different. Tyler had texted mid-afternoon, "Dad's got the night off. Movie marathon at ours. Horror flicks, your fave. Bring your ass by 8. Noah had stared at the screen, pulse quickening at the casual inclusion, imagining the dim living room, the flicker of the screen casting shadows on familiar walls. He showed up soaked, flannel sticking to his skin, hair curling at the ends. The porch light buzzed faintly, and when Mason opened the door, there was no Tyler bounding out with a beer. Just Mason, in a soft gray tee and sweats, barefoot on the welcome mat, holding a bowl of popcorn like an offering. "Tyler's wiped," Mason explained, stepping aside with a half-smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "That flu bug from last week. Thought he shook it, but he's snoring like a chainsaw. You want to bail, or?" He trailed off, gesturing vaguely toward the couch visible through the archway, where the TV glowed with the Netflix menu. Noah hesitated, water dripping from his jacket onto the mat. Part of him screamed to invent an excuse. Homework, a shift at the coffee shop, but the rain outside was a curtain, sealing him in, and Mason's gaze was steady, inviting in a way that tugged at something deep. Nah, I'm good, Noah said, peeling off his jacket and hanging it on the hook. If you're up for it. Mason's laugh was soft, almost relieved. Hell yeah, grab a seat. I'll nuke more popcorn. The living room smelled of cedar and butter, the kind of cozy that wrapped around you like a blanket. Mason dimmed the lights, and they settled on opposite ends of the leather sectional, a respectful gulf between them. Noah's knee bounced faintly as the opening credits of Hereditary rolled, Tony Collett's face twisting in grief on screen. He stole glances at Mason, who leaned back with arms crossed, focused but relaxed, his profile sharp against the blue flicker. Halfway through, during a lull in the dread, Mason paused the film. You holding up? This one's a gut punch. Noah shrugged, forcing nonchalance. Seen worse. Grew up on slasher marathons with my mom. She's got a thing for the 80s stuff. Mason nodded, eyes lingering. Sounds like a solid lady. Tyler's mom. Well, that's a different story. He rubbed the back of his neck, a gesture Noah had come to recognize as discomfort's edge. The divorce had been messy. Tyler's offhand mentions painting pictures of slammed doors and custody battles. Mason never badmouthed her, but the weight showed in the lines around his mouth. It's not easy, huh? Noah ventured, the words slipping out before he could reel them back. Being the one who stays steady. Mason's gaze sharpened, then softened. Comes with the territory. You learn to sand down the rough spots, make something smooth out of the mess. He uncrossed his arms, leaning forward, elbows on knees. What about you, Noah? What's your rough spot these days? The question hung there, intimate in the half-light. Noah's throat tightened. He could play it safe, talk classes, the part-time gig slinging lattes to pretentious tech bros. But Mason's eyes were open, seeing. Figuring out. Who I am, I guess. Noah said finally, voice barely above the rain's patter. Feels like everyone's got it mapped, and I'm just drifting. Mason didn't flinch, didn't look away. That's the trick of it. Drifting's how you find the current. He reached for the remote, but paused, his hand hovering near Noah's on the cushion. The space between their fingers crackled, unspoken. Then Mason hit play, but the air had shifted, charged like the storm outside. By the film's end, the credits scrolling in silence, neither moved to leave. Mason stretched, his shirt riding up just enough to reveal a sliver of skin above his waistband. Tan, dusted with dark hair, and Noah's breath caught, heat flooding his face. Another one? Mason asked, casual as ever, but his voice had that gravel again, low and deliberate. Yeah, Noah whispered, knowing it wasn't about the movie anymore. They chose The Witch, something slower, more brooding, with long shots of shadowed forest that mirrored the tangle in Noah's chest. Mason shifted closer this time, their thighs brushing as he passed the popcorn bowl. Noah's skin hummed at the contact, every nerve alive. On screen, the family unraveled in paranoia and sin, but off it, the unraveling was gentler, inevitable. Mason's commentary wove through the dialogue, dry observations about isolation, about the lies we tell to survive, and Noah found himself leaning in, drawn to the warmth radiating from Mason's side. When the credits hit again, the rain had eased to a drizzle, tapping like hesitant applause. Mason didn't stand. Instead, he turned, fully facing Noah, their knees now touching. You're a good kid, Noah. Tyler's lucky to have you around. The word kid stung, a reminder of the chasm, but Mason's eyes said otherwise, dark, searching, laced with a hunger that mirrored Noah's own. I'm not, Noah started, then stopped, the confession lodged like a splinter. Mason's hand moved then, slow as dawn, cupping the side of Noah's face. His palm was rough, calloused from planes and saws, but the touch was tender, thumb tracing Noah's jaw. I know, Mason murmured. God, I know. Their lips met in the dim glow, tentative at first, a brush, a question. Noah's world narrowed to the salt of Mason's skin, the faint taste of butter, the way Mason's breath hitched against his mouth. It deepened, urgent now, Mason's fingers threading into Noah's damp hair, pulling him closer. Noah's hands fisted in Mason's shirt, anchoring to the solid reality of him, the forbidden thrill spiking through his veins like adrenaline. They broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together, the TV's standby hum, the only sound. This, we can't, Noah panted, even as his body arched toward Mason's heat. We can, Mason replied, voice wrecked, his free hand sliding to Noah's waist, thumb circling the exposed skin where his shirt had ridden up. Or we stop. Your call. Noah's call was a kiss, fiercer this time, tongues tangling as hands explored, over shirts, under hems, mapping the terrain of shoulders and hips. Mason tasted like regret and revelation, his groans low and muffled against Noah's neck as teeth grazed collarbone. They shifted, Noah half in Mason's lap, the couch creaking under them, the world outside forgotten in the storm of touch. It escalated in fragments. Mason's shirt discarded, revealing the broad plane of his chest, scarred faintly from a long-ago shop accident. Noah's flannel unbuttoned, cool air-raising gooseflesh that Mason chased with warm lips. Whispers wove between gasps. "Tell me if it's too much." Mason breathed. Ever the protector, even here. Noah's response was an arch of his back, a plea of more. As Mason's hand slipped lower, palming him through denim, drawing a moan that echoed too loud in the quiet house. Upstairs, Tyler slept on, oblivious. Down here, boundaries dissolved like mist in morning light. They didn't go all the way, not that night. But the line had been crossed, etched in the bruises blooming on Noah's hips, the sated curve of Mason's smile as he pulled a blanket over them, holding Noah close through the credits of a film neither remembered. Dawn crept in gray and unforgiving, filtering through the blinds like judgment. Noah stirred first, Mason's arm heavy across his chest, the older man's breath steady against his shoulder. Panic bloomed sharp in Noah's gut. Tyler could wake any second, stumble down for water, and shatter everything. He extricated himself gently, heart pounding as he buttoned his shirt with trembling fingers. Mason roused, eyes bleary but soft. "Hey," he murmured, sitting up, hair tousled in a way that made Noah's chest ache. "You okay?" Noah nodded, throat tight. "Yeah, just gotta go before." Mason understood, pulling him into one last kiss, lingering and deep. "This isn't done," he said against Noah's lips. "We'll figure it." Slipping out the back door into the misty morning, Noah walked the 3 miles home along dew-kissed sidewalks, the city waking around him. Joggers in neon, baristas firing up espresso machines. His phone buzzed. "Tyler. Dude, where were you last night? Dad said you bailed early. We rescheduling?" Guilt twisted like a knife, but beneath it simmered something brighter, defiant, a spark of self he'd long buried. Noah typed back, "Yes, soon. Rain check." He pocketed the phone, tilting his face to the sky, letting the drizzle wash away the night's evidence, if not its echo. The next week blurred in a haze of stolen glances and coded texts. Mason, would delivery at the shop Saturday. Need a hand? Noah, there in 10. Tyler remained a bridge, oblivious, inviting Noah over for pizza and playoffs, chattering about midterms while Noah's eyes tracked Mason in the kitchen, the domestic dance of plates and pours hiding the undercurrent. One evening, as Tyler scrolled TikTok on the couch, Mason brushed past Noah in the hallway, fingers grazing his lower back, a secret brand that sent heat pooling low. Their first real alone time came mid-November, Tyler off at a concert in Tacoma with friends. Mason texted Noah directly for the first time. "Doors open. Bring that smile." Noah arrived under cover of dusk, the house aglow, a bottle of craft IPA chilling in the fridge. No pretense of movies this time. Mason met him in the entryway, backing him against the wall with a kiss that devoured, hands urgent as they stripped layers, jacket, shirt, belt, until skin met skin in the hallway shadows. Upstairs, in Mason's room, a sanctuary of exposed beams and flannel sheets, they moved with the slowness of revelation. Mason was patient, reverent, mapping Noah's body with lips and tongue, drawing out gasps and pleas. "You're beautiful," he whispered, voice hoarse, as Noah arched beneath him, fingers digging into broad shoulders. It was Noah's first time, raw and overwhelming, pain yielding to pleasure in waves that crested with Mason's name on his lips. Afterward, tangled in sheets, Mason held him close, tracing lazy patterns on Noah's back. "Never thought I'd feel this again," he confessed, vulnerability cracking his steady facade. After the divorce, figured that part was done. Noah pressed a kiss to his chest, heart swelling. "It's not. We're not." But cracks formed early, subtle as hairline fractures in wood. Tyler started noticing Noah's distractions, zoned out stares during drives, evasive answers about weekends. "You seeing someone?" Tyler asked one afternoon over burgers at Dick's, ketchup dripping forgotten. Noah choked on his fry, coughing out a laugh. "What? No, man. Just buried in that lit paper." Tyler eyed him, skeptical but letting it slide. "Cool. 'Cause you're acting weird. Like lovesick weird." The word landed like a stone in still water, ripples spreading. That night, alone, Noah stared at his ceiling, the fan's lazy spin mocking his turmoil. This thing with Mason, it was real, deeper than lust, a tether to someone who saw him whole. But the cost? Betraying Tyler, the one constant in his unraveling world. Mason felt it too. Their next night together, post-Thanksgiving haze lingering in the air, he pulled back mid-kiss, brow furrowed. "We gotta talk about this, Noah. About Tyler." Noah's stomach dropped. "He doesn't know? Can't know." Mason sighed, sitting on the bed's edge, elbows on knees. "I get that, but it's eating you alive. I see it in your eyes. And me. Christ, I'm twice your age, his dad. This could blow everything." "Then what?" Noah's voice cracked, fear sharp. "We stop." Mason's hand found his, squeezing. "Hell no. But we smarten up. Slow it down. Give it space to breathe." They tried. Texts tapered to logistics. "Shop needs stocking Thursday." Nights apart stretching like taffy. Noah threw himself into finals, sketching feverishly in margins, faces blurring into Mason's. Holiday break hit like a freight train. Tyler's family dinner invite. Mason at the head of the table, foot nudging Noah's undercloth in silent promise. Turkey carved with steady hands. Laughter forced around pie. The tension a live wire humming beneath. New Year's Eve shattered the fragile peace. Tyler threw a rager at the house, bass thumping from speakers, bodies packed wall to wall. Noah arrived late, buzzed from pregame shots at a friend's, determined to play normal. Mason was there, nursing a beer in the kitchen, eyes darkening as Noah weaved through the crowd. A quick brush in the pantry, lips crashing, hands fisting shirts, before Tyler's voice cut through. "Noah, shots." The night devolved into chaos. Jell-O from Solo cups, someone puking in the azaleas, Tyler grinding on a girl from poli-sci. Noah matched him drink for drink, vision blurring, until Mason appeared at his elbow, steering him to the backyard for air. Under the string lights, rain misting their faces, Mason cupped Noah's cheek. "You're killing me, kid. Go home. I'll handle this." Noah nodded, numb, stumbling the blocks to the bus. But midway, regret clawed back. He doubled around, slipping through the side gate. The party raged on, but upstairs, Mason waited, door ajar. They collided in the hall, desperate and drunk on more than booze, tumbling into the guest room. Clothes shed in a frenzy, bodies slick and urgent. Mason's thrusts a rhythm of release and ruin. "Fuck, Noah," he groaned, burying his face in Noah's neck, the words of vow and a wound. Dawn brought the hangover and the horror. Tyler, pounding on the door, voice slurred with sleep and suspicion. "Dad?" Noah's car. "Wait, what the hell?" The door flew open. Tyler stood there, eyes widening from confusion to betrayal in a heartbeat. Noah scrambling for pants. Mason frozen naked on the bed, sheets twisted like evidence. Silence stretched, taut as a bowstring, then snapped. "You what?" Tyler's face crumpled, rage blooming red. "My best friend? With you? My dad." Mason lunged for his sweats, hands raised. "Ty, listen." "No." Tyler backed away, tears streaking. "How long? God, how long have you been screwing around behind my back?" Noah's voice was a whisper. "Tyler, please. It's not. Save it." Tyler spat, whirling on Noah, the boy he trusted like blood. "You're disgusting. Both of you." He stormed out, slamming doors that echoed like gunshots, tires screeching as he peeled away into the gray morning. Mason sank to the bed, head in hands. Noah dressed in silence, nausea churning. "I should go," he said finally, voice hollow. Mason looked up, eyes wrecked. "Noah." But the words died. Noah fled, the cold slapping sense into him too late. Days blurred into silence. Tyler's number blocked, Mason's texts unread. Seattle's winter clamped down, skies leaden, mirroring the void. Noah holed up in his apartment, skipping classes, mom's worried calls going to voicemail. Sketches piled up, torn faces, fractured lines. His one outlet for the grief gnawing inside. 2 weeks in, a knock shattered the quiet. Mason on the stoop, bundled in wool, face gaunt. "Can we talk?" Noah stepped aside, the air thick. They sat at the tiny kitchen table, steam rising from mismatched mugs. Mason's hands trembled slightly. "I told Tyler everything. The whole mess. He hates me. Us. But he's talking to a counselor at school. Says he needs space." Noah's throat burned. "And you? What do you need?" Mason reached across, fingers lacing with Noah's. "You. If you'll have me. But on the table. This can't be half shadows anymore. I want dates, real ones. No more hiding." The offer hung, a lifeline frayed but strong. Noah searched Mason's face, the lines etched deeper, but the eyes still holding that steady light. What about Tyler? We destroyed him. We hurt him, Mason corrected gently. But love isn't destruction. It's rebuilding. Slowly. With grace. Tears pricked Noah's eyes. He nodded, squeezing back. Okay, rebuild. Spring thawed the city in fits and starts, cherry blossoms defiant against the chill. Their first real date was tentative, a walk along Green Lake, hands brushing then holding, no glances over shoulders. Mason shared stories of his youth, running wild in rural Oregon, first love lost to the closet's weight. Noah opened up about his mom's quiet strength, the fear of labels in a world quick to judge. Tyler's thaw came gradual. A text in March, not ready to see you, but congrats on the art show. Mom told me. Noah's pieces, raw, queer hearts in charcoal, had hung in a Capitol Hill gallery, Mason front row, pride radiating. Another month, a coffee meet. Tyler gaunt, but eyes softening. It sucks. All of it. But you're happy, right? That's what Dad says. Noah nodded, throat tight. Yeah. And I'm sorry, for the how, not the who. Tyler exhaled, a ghost of his grin flickering. Me too. Kinda. By summer, fractures mended uneven but whole. Tyler crashed their fourth picnic. Awkward at first, beers passed like truces, but laughter crept in, tentative bridges. Mason and Noah built something solid. Weekends at the cabin up in the Cascades, hands intertwined on hikes, nights tangled in firelight. No grand gestures, just the quiet romance of shared silences, of choosing each other daily. Noah turned 21 in August, the party small. Mom beaming, Tyler toasting with ironic flair, Mason's arm around his waist in full view, unapologetic. As cake crumbled and candles smoked, Mason pulled him aside on the deck, the sound glittering below. Here's to us, he said, slipping a key onto Noah's palm. Simple iron, heavy with promise. No more invitations. Just home. Noah kissed him then, slow and sure, the world unfolding like a well-sanded edge, rough once, but smooth now, ready for whatever came next. In the city of rain and reinvention, they'd carved their space, not perfect, but theirs. A testament to the mess of love, the grace in breaking, and the quiet fire of becoming.